friends! In real life, we can eat mayonnaise for every meal, give everyone gifts of mayonnaise for every birthday, and we can even fill up our clawfoot bathtub overlooking the woods in the backyard and watch squirrels frolic while we bathe in mayonnaise. In Stardew Valley, living the Mayo lifestyle can be quite difficult though, so I decided that my next 100-day challenge would revolve around mayonnaise. After doing some research, it looks like the Mayo challenge has been proposed before and some of the rules have already been laid out. It's a good starting point, but I'm going to make some modifications. You have to start on Meadowlands Farm and set your favorite thing to mayonnaise. That's a no-brainer, so no issues there. Next, after you reach farming level 2, you can only sell mayonnaise. I'm going to take that one step further. I'm going to say I can only ever ship Mayo, period. If I sell anything else at any point, I have to uninstall the game and burn my computer until the ghost of the tainted save file has been cleansed. I'm going to try to condense the rest of the rules a bit. I'm only allowed to eat and gift Mayo. Everything has to be Mayo themed, meaning my traditional overalls will have to be Mayo colors, all of the buildings will need to be appropriate to the animals and their types of Mayo. If I get a horse, it will have to be named Mayo because sometimes Mayo neighs. I like that one, so I'll leave it in as is. I have to use Mayo for the luau, but I'm going to give myself a pass on the Valley Fair since it really only affects the score, so it just means I have to play games longer to get prizes. Next up, what are the goals? First, I'd like to get at least 2 of each egg-laying animal. For this, I'm including all chicken colors except gold, since that just isn't going to happen in 100 days. Second, I want to get married to someone who appreciates Mayo or the animals that Mayo comes from. I think the 3 contenders are Krobus for his love of void Mayo, Shane for his love of chickens. Also, I need to befriend Shane anyway to get all of the chicken colors. And Emily mainly because she gets a pet parrot, which goes along with the bird theme. I will need to get to Ginger Island to complete the first goal, so that means I need to complete either the community center or the Joja Community Development Forum. I really don't know how much money to expect from just Mayo, but I'll need a decent amount to get all of the buildings upgraded enough to paint them the Mayo colors, so I'm going to shoot for at least 500,000 gold. Alright, with all of the conditions set, let's start the Mayo challenge. My story starts out at my desk at work. I'm dying for some mayonnaise as a snack, but I realized that I finished my last jar of emergency desk Mayo for breakfast. If only there was a better way to feed my Mayo cravings. In a flash of brilliance, I remember a letter that my dead grandpa gave to me before he died. If I'm lucky, maybe the envelope is full of Mayo. Sadly, there's only a letter telling me about my grandpa's farm, which he's passed down to me. Maybe that's actually a way to fulfill my Mayo dreams. I'm pretty sure mayonnaise comes from farms, so if I'm lucky, there will already be mayonnaise trees cultivated and ready for a spring harvest. It's time to pack up my bags and head to Stardew Valley. When I arrive, Robin is kind enough to meet me at the bus stop and show me to my farm. Alas, there's no mayonnaise in sight, and I catch the mayor coming out of my house. He probably just finished stealing all of the Mayo that Grandpa left for me. Okay, enough of this. Robin and Lewis, get lost so I can get down to business. The first day always feels like there's so much to do. I need to get a chest made as soon as possible to store all of the items I can't sell, so I start to clear out the farm. I have to be really careful about what I spend energy on. It will be a little while until I start getting Mayo, so money and energy are going to be really tight. I check on my chickens for the first time and find out they're named Salt and Pepper. Okay, we have a new challenge added to this run. Can I name all of my animals after herbs and spices? While introducing myself around town, I find my first artifact, a couple carrot seeds and a few mixed seeds too. Getting my farming leveled up is going to be a priority, but I think I want to save up for another chicken rather than buying seeds. Hopefully, what I find is enough to speed things along. I work myself to exhaustion, but I know I'm leveling up foraging overnight, so my energy should be fine tomorrow. Since I hit foraging level 1 overnight, on spring 2, I craft 20 spring seeds and plant them around my imaginary sprinklers. It's really just for the farming experience. Even though they aren't as good as normal crops, they're free, and 3 experience isn't too bad at the cost of some daily watering. There's an impossible timed quest available to deliver a potato, so if that's any indicator of my luck this run, I'm in trouble. I pick up the fishing pole from Willie, but I have to drop a pine cone to fit it in my inventory. I have never seen a man look so disappointed in me, and that's saying a lot. On spring 3, it's raining, so I can save a little energy today. I get my first egg harvest, which completes a 100 gold quest, which means I have enough for a new chicken. I stop by Emily's, and as part of the daily quest, I let her take a leak in exchange for 180 gold. At this point, Emily showering me with a little gold is a great feeling. I do a little more farm cleanup until I'm exhausted and then call it an early day. On spring 4, Willie has requested a largemouth bass, so I head up to the lake to fish for the first time. I managed to hook a bass on the first attempt, so it's a free catch. I turn it into Willie at the fish shop for 100 gold, and I decide to fish up to level 1 after seeing some bubbles off the dock. With the energy I have left, I work on clearing a little more of the farm, and I end up hitting level 3 foraging. As always, spring 5 is a big day. Mayor Lewis lets me into the community center for the first time, but has to leave abruptly to get lunch at 8 a.m. Is that code for Marnie? The real event of the day is the opening of the mine, though. I bring a chest along, since my backpack is probably not getting upgraded for a while. Marlin is kind enough to give me a rusty sword. If only he had some mayonnaise to keep the blade oiled. Energy is going to be my biggest worry with mining for a while, but I managed to get some pretty good luck with ladders. I also find 3 earth crystals, which will be required for mayonnaise machines, so I'm in really good shape once I hit level 2 farming. I also managed to pick up a wood club at some point, so I really couldn't have asked for a better start to mining. On spring 6, I pay a visit to the wizard, who teaches me the language of the forest with a single drink of mystery sludge. If only Duolingo was this easy. I make a little extra gold by delivering Willie a horseradish and then drop off some spring forage to complete my first bundle. I think I want to at least see if I can get the boiler room bundles done to unlock the minecarts, since that's one that might be easy enough to get done before switching over to Joja. The rest of the day is spent in the mine, where I reach level 20 and even manage to get the rest of the clay I need for a silo. I'm sure all of my birds will thank me. Spring 7 is another busy day. I planned to get a silo, but while I was running around town, I saw a request from Emily for a largemouth bass. Since I caught one the other day, I didn't even have to fish one up. After turning it in, I had enough money to get a new chicken. Unfortunately, after buying the new chicken, I only had 80 gold left and I couldn't afford the silo. Anyway, I'll have to just hope I can get a quest that will get me at least 20 gold tomorrow. I finish out the day in the mine and even make it to floor 35. The quest for spring 8 is to get Penny an anchovy. That should be easy, right? Well, after a stupid amount of sardines, herring, and even flounders, I finally get an anchovy. With the 90 gold from Penny, I have enough time to make it to Robin's to commission a silo. At least all of that got me up to level 2 fishing. On spring 9, I get a big harvest of carrots and spring forage, which gets us to level 2 farming. Tomorrow, we'll unlock sprinklers and, even more importantly, the mayonnaise machine. The money can officially start rolling in. In the meantime, I'm still gonna need ore, so I go to the mines for the rest of the day. I managed to get into the frozen floors and even get a coffee bean. Normally, I'd be thrilled about coffee, but in a world of only mayonnaise, coffee beans don't really do much other than provide some free farming experience. On day 10, I make some sprinklers and my first mayonnaise machines. Now it's just a matter of time until money starts pouring in for the loads of creamy white stuff I'll be making. I want to get another coop, so I'll need more wood. I end up drinking a couple of my Mayos to keep cutting down trees. Hopefully, that wasn't a big mistake. Not being able to eat anything other than Mayo is a killer, and it's a huge money trade-off for energy, so I'm gonna have to prioritize. Anyway, I give Evelyn a seaweed, which gets me an orange sapling from the prize machine. It's totally worthless in this playthrough, but I'll plant it anyway. On spring 11, I prep for my next coop build. I have to process some Mayo and sell directly to Pierre today to get enough gold. Before heading to Robin's, I find her lost axe to get an extra 250 gold from the quest. I commission the new coop and then drop by the mine. Luck is not on my side though, and I don't make any progress on the elevator. I go to the mines on spring 12, but again, I don't have much luck. I get dwarf scroll 4, but my energy gets pretty low before I can make any progress. After turning in the scroll, I go back to the mines and do some floor hopping for copper. I use some cherry bombs to conserve energy and end up coming out with more copper than I spent, all while leveling up mining a bit more. It's the egg festival today, so there won't be much time for anything. I will need more wood if I want to upgrade or get more coops, so I burn most of my energy chopping down some trees in Cindersap Forest. I get an ancient seed, which is kind of a good find this early in the game. Even though I can't sell the fruit, it's good farming experience once it's fully grown. At the egg festival, I buy 1 strawberry seed. I really can't use it for anything other than farming experience, but I just like the idea of having a couple available if I decide to propagate them later for fun. Maybe it's just a habit. Anyway, even though I'm not in it for the prizes, I can't let anyone beat me in the egg hunt on a Mayo challenge run. As usual, I mop the floor with these kids and take home a lovely straw hat. That reminds me, I'll have to keep an eye out for a hat that goes with the Mayo theme. My goal for Spring 14 is to get my axe upgraded at the blacksmith. I decide to cut some trees beforehand to get as much wood as I can before I'm without an axe for a couple days. I pick up a few artifacts at the beach and unlock a few summer seeds as rewards. I'll pick those up later. I managed to find a garbage can hat, but I don't think it's befitting of a future Mayo tycoon. I go to the mine to burn the rest of my energy. After getting to floor 49, I run out of energy and I decide to drink the 1 Mayo I brought as a gift for Shane. At least I make it to floor 50 and get some elevator progression. Shane friendship will have to wait. Since I don't have my axe, and Marnie takes Mondays off, it looks like Spring 15 will be spent in the mines. I end up finding an aquamarine and a diamond along the way, and I even make it to floor 60 with energy to spare. I have to leave though. I really want to start to work on friendship with Shane, and this mayonnaise is burning a hole in my pocket. I find him on the way home from the bar, of course. This Mayo was the first gift I've given, so I finally earn 100 gold for the quest. By the morning of Spring 16, I was feeling a little worried about making enough money to get all of my goals done in 100 days, so I decided I would need to change priorities a bit. To save some money on the Joja community forum, I could complete a few bundles in the community center before buying my membership. The remixed bundles might make it tricky, but I think I can finish the pantry and boiler room by fall. At that point, I may as well do the vault too. Even though it costs a little bit more than the Joja bus repair, the rewards include quality fertilizer, a lightning rod, and a crystallarium, which might be good for duplicating jade or even earth crystals for mayonnaise machines. Plus, doing the vault through the community center lets me get to the desert a bit earlier than waiting to finish the pantry bundle in fall before switching to Joja. Anyway, I'm going to have to urgently grow some spring crops. The remixed bundles means I skipped the animal bundle and instead I got the fish farmers bundle, which means I'm probably going to need a fish pond. The 5,000 gold for the pond and the extra crop cost will save me 35,000 versus Joja, so I think it's worth it. I'll need level 8 farming for the brewer's bundle, but I think that's manageable. I get kind of lucky with an 840 gold quest from the wizard to kill dust sprites, so after getting my missing seeds from Pierre, I head to the mine. I hop around floors until I get my dust sprite quota and then charge ahead to floor 65 before rushing to the wizard's tower to collect my cash and a prize ticket. I hit level 5 foraging, and in a very rare turn of events, I actually pick Forester over Gatherer. I think I'm gonna need a ton of wood, and I couldn't think of anything that Gatherer and Botanist were really gonna help with. On Spring 17, Marnie is finally back in her shop, so I get 4 new baby chickens. I pick up a birch chair from Robin on the way to the mines to hop over the secret forest log. I don't think I'll be hurting for hardwood too much this run, but I might want it for fences later on, once my coops are a bit more established. In the mine, I make it to floor 70 before I run out of energy. On Spring 18, I don't have much to do, so I go to the mine to see if I can make any progress. I get down to floor 75, and on the way, I hit level 5 mining. This is a pretty good place to stop because I want to make sure I have enough energy to cut down a few trees. I really need to step it up and get another coop built, so I want to make sure I have the materials ready as soon as I get enough money. Overnight, I pick the miner profession for that sweet bonus ore. I actually don't think this run will need a lot of smelted bars, but extra never hurts, and maybe I can find something else to do with it. I start Spring 19 a little slow, so my baby chickens are roaming all over the place, and I have to wrangle them up for their morning petting. I would build a fence, but I think I need the wood too much for more coops. I'll just have to remember to make sure to pet them first thing every morning before they can wander too far. After brewing some mayonnaise, I should have enough money to start building another coop. Luckily, I also get 350 gold from Jody for her cauliflower quest. That lets me hold on to a gold star mayo. I'll probably get another tomorrow, but I really need it for a birthday gift, and I'd hate to be out of gold quality mayonnaise on a birthday. This really brings back fond memories of all the jars of mayo I'd get on my birthday as a child. I have enough energy to fish up 3 carp for Willie, so that's another 90 gold. Unfortunately, Pierre won't be getting his 90 gold anchovy tonight. It's Shane's birthday today, so it's very important to give him a rich, creamy load of mayo. At first, he's not very pleased to see me, but once he's got the delicious white stuff in his hands, his tune completely changes. It's extra warm because it was in my pocket. Anyway, I got 500 gold from Mayor Lewis for completing quests around town today, as well as another 500 gold from Dad. It might be a waste, but I'm feeling lucky, so I go to Clint to crack open some geodes. I get 2 iridium ore along with several museum donations. I can't get too far behind on the museum donations because I may need to buy a void egg from Krobus if my luck with the witch is bad. Besides, despite marrying someone else this time around, we all know my heart truly belongs to Krobus. I burn up some energy in the mines and even get all the way to floor 85. The floor 80 chest has a cudgel, which is a nice weapon upgrade that I'm very worried I'll be using for a long time. On spring 21, after finding out some of my chickens are too stupid to find the endless fields of grass, I head to the mine. My pickaxe hasn't been upgraded, so I stick to the lower floors to stock up on some ore. Upgrading the pickaxe is a lower priority than chickens, so I think I might have to stockpile some bombs to progress past 85. Maybe I can afford an upgrade in a few weeks. On the way home, I bum a secondhand cigarette from Sebastian and then use my remaining energy to cut trees down around the farm before bed. Well, it's happened again. My 3rd coop is done, but it's a Monday, so I'm forced to wait 2 days to get chickens. Marnie, you little... Never mind. On the bright side, I have enough money to start building my 4th coop. I need to stop at the mine first to pick up some stone, though. I have a few bombs and cherry bombs, so I decide to chance it and go to floor 85. My luck is actually pretty good, and I get a decent amount of gold ore while just barely making it to floor 90, where I get the obsidian edge. I still prefer the cudgel, but it's a nice backup weapon. It may have to go in storage until I have more backpack space, though. I bump into Shane in Cindersap Forest in the evening, and he gives me a beer. I quickly pour it out and fill it with mayonnaise while he's rambling on. If we get married, I'll have to put my foot down. Only mayo from here on out, Shane. On spring 23, I find Shane passed out in his room. Luckily, I have a watering can full of cat urine to pour on his face to wake him up. What? I can't afford a litter box. Apparently, Shane doesn't want to live long enough to plan for the future. Remind me to get that life insurance plan as soon as we get married. I drop off my kale at the community center and then I take some cherry bombs to the mine. I make it down to floor 95 and along the way, I hit level 6 mining. Being able to craft bombs will be really helpful with my crappy pickaxe. Spring 24 is the flower dance, so once again, I can't buy chickens. Marnie! Anyway, I decide to burn some energy in the mine beforehand. At the dance, I ask Shane to be my partner. Good thing he's drunk. He probably won't even notice that I'm getting all of the choreography wrong. After the dance, I have some energy to burn, so I chop down trees around the farm until the missile gets eepy. On spring 25, Marnie is finally back in her shop, so I fill up my newest 3-day-old coop with chickens. At this point, I think mining is the most valuable way to spend my energy, so I head over there with a bunch of fresh-made bombs. At floor 99, ladders just refuse to appear, and I have to waste a lot of bombs. With just a few nodes left, I finally get one, and I make it to level 100, where I get my first star drop. With how much energy has been an issue in this run, star drops are really going to be helpful. It also fills up my energy bar, so I go home and do some wood chopping around the farm until bedtime. It's back to the mine again today. I get a green bean, so that means I can finish the spring crops bundle. That also finally opens up the boiler room bundles too. They are usually some of the easier ones, so that's good news. One of my remixed bundles takes iridium and a battery, so that stinks, but I already got iridium from a geode, so it should be okay. In the mines, I make it up to level 105. At the very least, I feel pretty good about making it that far with the starting pickaxe. It's almost the end of spring. I decide that I want to save up for a coop upgrade, which will cost 10,000 gold. I don't sell any Mayo since I'm getting close to getting the rancher profession, and anything I can hold until then will be worth 20% more. I find some cookies in one of my storage chests, which means I can finish the children's bundle as soon as I can buy ice cream in summer. This will give me 3 batteries, which can be used to finish the engineer's bundle. It's a nice little domino effect, and it will mean I can get the boiler room done without waiting for stormy weather. I get a quest to kill some red slimes for 750 gold, and for that money, I'm definitely gonna do it. I even end up making it to floor 110, where I get some fancy crystal shoes, which go with the Mayo-themed look much better too. It's the last day of spring, so it's time to prepare for the next season. I hit level 5 farming today, but I won't be able to get the rancher profession until I sleep. If I sell directly to Pierre today, I have enough Mayo money to cover the coop upgrade and 2 new chickens. I think it's better to keep ramping production than to wait for rancher. So I go see Robin and Marnie. Demetrius wants me to kill 5 rock crabs in the mines for 900 gold. That's a tall order, my guy. In fact, I don't end up finding any, but I do make it to floor 120, which grants me the skull key. I don't think I've ever finished the mine with the base pickaxe before. I add a few sprinklers and then head to bed. It's the first day of summer, so there's a lot to do. I sell a few jars of Mayo to Pierre for some quick cash and buy a few seeds while I'm there. I crack open a few geodes and mystery boxes at the blacksmith and then pick up some ice cream from Alex to finish the children's bundle and complete the boiler room. Woo! I set up more sprinklers and plant some summer crops, mostly for farming experience, but some summer crops could be quest items as well. I decide I'm not going to bother with the pantry and the community center. Even though it would save me 30,000 gold, it's a lot of crop management, plus a 5,000 gold investment into a fish pond. Overnight, the Junimos repair the minecarts. That's going to be a big time saver getting around town. On summer 2, I finally rebuild the bridge on the beach. I don't need the forage over there, but I'm doing pretty well with supplies, and I'm going to need that fixed before I can get married anyway. I have 2 quests for fishing, so I head up to the mountain lake where I catch them in 2 casts. Well, that was easy. With my now 3 prize tickets, I pick up some flower seeds, mystery boxes, and a Stardrop tea. I didn't really account for Stardrop tea. It doesn't count as a normal gift, and it's probably a one-off in this playthrough, so I think I'm gonna allow it. The Stardrop tea will save me about 4 quality mayonnaise gifts to Shane, so that's a big help befriending Chicken Boy. With the regular Mayo gift, that gets Shane up to 6 hearts. Overnight before Summer 3, the earthquake opens up the train station. Since my coop upgrade is done, I get my first baby duck. Duck Mayo is not quite as lucrative as chicken Mayo, and ducks are more expensive too, so I'll probably get the rest of my ducks from incubating duck seeds. After interrupting some elder abuse, I scold Penny and tell her next time she should try harder not to get caught. Afterward, I mine a bit and then do my rounds at the saloon to earn friends before bed. It's storming on Spring 4, and I find Shane drunk near the cliff in Cindersap Forest. He's really close to the edge, but I really shouldn't push him off. I need him for his blue chickens. After taking him to the clinic, Harvey suggests euthanasia. Harvey, did you not just hear what I said about the blue chickens? Anyway, Shane survives, so I go about my day. I don't see him for the rest of the day though, and somehow saving his life didn't count toward my daily friendship interaction. I buy 1 more chicken and then use the rest of my cash to upgrade another coop. On Summer 5, Clint wants me to get some copper ore from the mines. It's your lucky day, Clint. I was going there anyway. I find enough geodes to warrant getting them cracked as well. I end up having to go back and forth to the museum a few times to clear inventory space, but I get through all of them eventually and make some decent progress in the museum. The green rain comes on Spring 6, which is pretty early. Unfortunately, it doesn't help me too much in this playthrough. I find Marnie and Shane huddled up at home, and after splashing some green rain on them, Marnie reaches 2 hearts with me, meaning I can go into her room and steal the mayor's shorts. I'm sure Marnie will miss the aroma, but it's for the best. There are clearly some mayonnaise stains on them that need to be washed anyway. I do a lap around the valley, but I don't collect as much green rain forage as I normally would if I had a use for all of it, and I end up calling it a day a little early. On summer 7, I head to Marnie's to get a couple more chickens and get Shane's 7-heart cutscene. He's either turning over a new leaf or just resorting to bribery to get Jas to like him. I head to Pierre's to sell some mayo and get another Shane cutscene. Ugh, just give me the blue chickens already. After getting my mayo money, I commission my first house upgrade. Clint wants to inspect some iron ore, so I hop around the frozen floors of the mine until I have enough to drop off to him at the saloon. I hit level 6 farming today as well, so before bed, I lay out some crops for the incoming quality sprinklers. The next morning, I set up 5 quality sprinklers. I should probably do even more to level up my farming faster. Getting to Coop Master isn't a big deal for profits, but it might help later with dinosaurs and void chickens that have to be hatched. Speaking of hatching, my duck laid her first egg, so that goes straight into the incubator. I start clearing some trees around the farm, and that eats up a lot of my energy, so it ends up being an uneventful day. On summer 9, I decide to splurge a little bit and upgrade my pickaxe as well as finally get an upgraded backpack. Before I take my pickaxe in, I get a little mining out of my system and nearly die after face tanking some shadow creatures. I make it out of the mine, bleeding profusely, but after that I deliver a grape request to Penny and she doesn't even complain about all the blood on it. On summer 10, I buy a couple flooring recipes from Robin. I think it's time to start rearranging the farm, and flooring is always a good place to start when working on layout. I commission yet another coop and I have enough gold to buy one more chicken as well. I spend the rest of the day cutting some trees down and starting to lay out some wooden paths. It's the day of the luau, so I don't really have much else planned. I do a little tree cutting around the farm and then head over. I wonder what ingredient I should put in the soup. Of course, I've always got a warm pocket full of the white and creamy stuff, so I toss that in. Naturally, the governor loves mayo soup. On summer 12, Pierre notifies me that he's carrying bouquets now. Of all people, how does Pierre know I'm romancing one of the town drunks? Anyway, I stop at the beach quick to forage and watch Elliot rage at a sea urchin before I buy a bouquet. I decide to ask Shane to go steady while he's at work. He wouldn't turn me down in front of customers, right? Of course, he says yes and immediately goes back to stocking shelves. Thanks for the enthusiasm, Shane. I finish out the day in the mines and it's enough to hit level 8, which means I get the recipe for mega bombs. Summer 13 is a rainy day, so I'm hoping Shane will be hanging around at Marnie's. As it turns out, he's not there and I can't find him anywhere. I'll have to put off blue chickens for another day. I collect a few ore and geodes in the mines, but I leave early to get my pickaxe in for another upgrade. On summer 14, I go to visit Shane and he finally introduces me to his blue chickens. I get 5 of them from Marnie, which is enough to fill up my coops for now. I do another coop upgrade with Robin and rearrange some buildings a little bit. This is gonna need some work. We've hit the halfway point for summer. I deliver a ruby to Leah, which gets me a prize ticket worth 4 preserves jars. I really can't think of anything I'm going to use them for, so they might stay in storage. I go to the mines to hopefully get some ore, geodes, and stone. Crafting all of these coops really burns through my stone, so I'm going to have to take it up a notch. It's summer 16, and my coop upgrade is finished, but it's a Tuesday, so I can't buy chickens and I can't queue up another upgrade since Marnie and Robin don't have their shops open. I'll just have to take another trip to the mine to gather stone. First, I crack a few geodes at the blacksmith and deliver a gold bar to Elliot for a 750 gold reward. I don't have anything specific I'm looking for in the mines, so I just hop around between the ice and lava floors. I even stumble upon a floor with more skeletons than nodes. How come I never get this floor when I've got a bone fragment quest? On Wednesday, Marnie and Robin are both open for business, so I upgrade another coop and move them around a bit too. I get 3 more blue chickens, so the blue coop is temporarily full. Evelyn wants a melon, so I drop by to give her one, but I interrupt another instance of elder abuse. This time, it's Harvey, but I'm starting to think everybody in town has it out for George. I try to work on the layout a bit more, but it's getting late. This will have to continue to be a work in progress. On summer 18, it's raining again, so all the chickens are cooped up inside. At least it makes it easier to pet everyone without all my fences set up. I deliver a pike to Evelyn, and once again, I head to the mine for lack of anything better to do. I think I'm gonna have to save up for the bus repair soon to open up new mining opportunities. Summer 19 is the third rainy day in a row. Even with the rain, it's starting to take a long time each morning petting the birds and collecting eggs. I go to Robin's to build yet another coop and then head to the beach. On the way, I find my second garbage hat. Does the game know I'm planning to marry Shane? At the beach, I fish all afternoon. Sebastian is kind enough to keep me company on the other dock. I wish I could stare off blankly into the ocean for 3 hours straight like he does. I make it up to level 5 fishing, and I take Fisher, if only to get Pirate later. Summer 20 is the first day of the Trout Festival. After taking care of farm chores, I go to the community center to buy the 25,000 gold vault bundle. The reward is a crystallarium, which should be useful for duplicating earth crystals for more Mayo machines, as well as fire quartz for more quality sprinklers. Once those are done, maybe I'll go jade. I spend the rest of the day fishing, but my luck is terrible. I only end up with 1 trout tag. I get some fishing experience though, so we'll see if that's enough to lure me back tomorrow. It's now the second day of the Trout Festival, so let's see if I have any time to do it. I have enough Mayo in production to afford the rest of the vault bundle, so I sell all of it directly to Pierre and then head to the community center. On the way, Demetrius gets a melon for his quest, and Sam gets a purple mushroom for his, so I make a little side cash too. By the time I get around to the Trout Derby, it's already past 6, and my terrible luck continues. I only get 1 more trout tag, which earns me 3 Omni Geodes. It's better than nothing, I guess. Overnight, the Junimos repair the bus, which unlocks the desert. On Summer 22, my new coop is done, but Marnie is once again not in her shop, so I can't stock up on chickens. After processing the day's Mayo, I sell them straight to Pierre to get enough for another coop upgrade from Robin. While in town, I find a trash catalog in one of the garbage cans. Yet again, another perfect find for a Shane romance. There's enough time to take my first trip to the desert, but it's not too eventful other than me realizing my weapon and combat skill are feeling a little iffy. My health and energy get low enough that I have to head home early, so I stop by the saloon to say hi to everyone before bed. Overnight, I hit level 9 farming, which means I can craft seed makers. These are potentially valuable for a few reasons. I'm thinking mainly of mastery experience later, but making carrot seeds could be good for quickly farming some golden walnuts on Ginger Island too. I have a golden mask from the desert to turn in at the museum, and I also get another mineral from breaking geodes too. I think I'm getting close to getting the sewer key, so I may have to grind some geodes or get some artifact troves from the desert trader. Anyway, Haley wants a pike for girl reasons. We all know what she means, but this seems a bit extreme. I can understand a sea cucumber, but a scaly raw fish that ranges from 15 to 61 inches? Come on, Haley, there are better options out there. I don't feel confident enough to go to Skull Cavern for the rest of the day, so I just burn some energy in the mines for a bit. On Summer 24, I decide I'm going to take a shot at Skull Cavern to try to get the 10k gold reward from Mr. Key. First, I've got some coops to fill. I buy enough chickens to get my white, brown, and blue ones up to 12 each. Everything from now on will be hatched, so I'm going to have to work on getting some new eggs. Skull Cavern feels extra difficult right now, partly because I'm weak, but partly because I can only consume Mayo, which means healing is both a limited resource and an expensive one. I hit a dinosaur floor at 18, and I managed to get 3 new bones for the museum, but no egg, so that's a bummer. I'm playing it super cautious with all of the flying monsters, so it's a pretty slow descent. When I reach floor 21, I risk some extra fall damage and drop perfectly to floor 25. That's enough for Key's quest, so I'm out of there immediately. After Skull Cavern yesterday, Summer 25 feels pretty boring. I turn in a hot pepper to George and 35 wood to Robin, which gets me a prize ticket for Friendship 101. I decide that today is finally the day to bite the bullet and get my Joja membership. I knew it was coming, but it still just feels wrong. After some failed fishing attempts on the dock, due to some unexpected legendary fish hooks, I stop by the saloon to say hi to Shane, and my greeting is enough to make him love me. At 10 hearts, I should be able to propose to him as soon as the next rainy day. Speaking of rain, on summer 26, we get a storm. Looks like Yoba wants this wedding to happen ASAP. There's a line at my front door in the morning, starting with Gunther, who gives me the key to the sewer. When I'm buying my void egg, I will have to break the bad news to Shadow Daddy that he can't move in. Shane is next in line, and he offers to take me to a sports ball game later. I spend 10,000 gold on the void egg and the mermaid pendant, so that's a big hit to the pocketbook. At the game, Shane kisses me in the drunken excitement. I must be drunk too, cause I kiss him back. After the game, I propose marriage at the saloon and have immediate regrets. Do I really need to do this? I've already got the blue chickens. I fish on the dock for the rest of the day, contemplating my life decisions, and eventually sulk home. On summer 27, I try to get all of my eggs for the day turned into Mayo as fast as possible. I should just barely be able to afford the greenhouse build from Joja if I sell everything directly to Pierre. While my Mayo is Mayoing, I level up my fishing in Cindersap Forest. I've got quite the audience with Clint and Elliot critiquing my fishing abilities. It's going pretty well though, and I managed to get a chest with a dinosaur egg in it. This is amazing news since my last dinosaur floor in Skull Cavern came up empty. In fact, after this, I change my plan completely and decide to get another coop upgrade instead of the greenhouse. I've got 2 ducks waiting to hatch, a void chicken in queue, and now a dinosaur to start incubating. I think the greenhouse can wait one more day. After commissioning my coop upgrade, I fish in the mountain lake again with some spectators. Before the day is done, I make it to level 7 fishing. It's the last day of summer and I have a lot to do today. I think I can sell Mayo and get the 35,000 needed for the greenhouse repair, but it's Sunday, so I also want to get to the desert to trade in whatever jade I have for staircases. I find a duck egg for 380 gold at the traveling cart, so I pick that up to make a small profit after turning it into Mayo. It's also my last chance to get a rare seed before fall, so I cough up 1,000 gold for that too. After a few floors in Skull Cavern, I warp home to sell Mayo and get to Jojamart. I fish for a bit in the river and then head to the dance of the Midnight Jellies as a sentimental end to the season. As I stand next to my bed, I realize I'm marrying Shane tomorrow. I think of all of the marriage candidates. This is the coldest feat I could get. I'll just tell myself to do it for the chickens. Overnight, my greenhouse was repaired, but I didn't get to see it happen. Instead, we get to witness my wedding to Shane. I even wore my finest blue overalls. After taking care of the chickens, I spend the rest of the morning planting in the greenhouse. I don't want to waste energy watering, so I'll just wait for the sprinklers to do their job tomorrow. These crops are mainly for farming experience and seed making for Ginger Island anyway. George has a request for bok choy within 2 days, another impossible quest to complete in time. So thanks a lot, George. With my leftover energy, I do a little fishing and manage to get Angler, my first legendary fish. On fall 2, I head back to Skull Cavern. I could really use another dinosaur egg, or 10, and I kinda need to level up combat anyway. After 19 floors, I get a dinosaur floor, but sadly no eggs drop. I ended up wasting 3 gold star mayonnaise to replenish health, and all I got to show for it was 4 iridium ore. In all fairness, that puts me really close to the 5 bars I will need for Willie's boat repair in a few days, so I guess I can't get too upset. I managed to reach level 8 combat too. Overnight, the raccoon tree gets blown over. I learned my lesson last time though. There's not really enough time to mess with the raccoons in a 100-day run, so it ends up just being a waste of hardwood to repair it. I'm gonna skip all of that this time around. I decide to go back to Skull Cavern once again on fall 3. The TV said the spirits were annoyed, but I guess that means I'll have a better chance at getting more combat experience, right? I have a quest to get ectoplasm for the wizard and one to kill red slimes. Oddly enough, I complete the red slime quest while in Skull Cavern, so it must count purple slimes on the red spectrum. I start out with some decent luck with ladders and I cautiously work my way down. I pick up a few iridium ore here and there, but I don't get anything really good until floor 33 when, to my surprise, I get a cluster of 5 iridium nodes. Jackpot! While breaking the nodes, I get an even bigger surprise. It's my first prismatic shard. I don't have much time to celebrate though, as I hear 3 consecutive serpent screams. when I think I'm boned, in a miracle, the first serpent dies and I get a ladder, probably seconds before I would have been knocked out for sure. I decide not to try my luck any further and I go outside to claim my new galaxy sword. This is really going to make combat so much easier. Before heading home, I trade in some Omni Geodes for 4 Desert Warp Totems. I don't know why I didn't do that sooner. I've been wasting money on bus tickets this whole time, and I don't think I really even need Omni Geodes for much else. You'd think I'd be better at planning by now. On Fall 4, I get my first Void Chicken to hatch. I pay 25,000 gold for Joja to rebuild the bridge to the quarry, and with some leftover cash, I upgrade my watering can. I should be able to finish the Joja community form tomorrow, which means Ginger Island is coming up soon. I don't need the watering can for much, but it will be required for the volcano dungeon, so a little upgrade might help. I spend the rest of the day hunting crabs in the mine for Demetrius. Overnight, the Joja team rebuilds the quarry bridge, and I can already see some gem nodes with my name on them. I hit level 10 farming today, so I take Coop Master to hopefully speed up the dinosaur hatching spree that's coming my way. On Fall 5, I buy the last Joja community development project, and then the rest of the day is spent in the mine and the quarry. I stop in the quarry mine to quickly grab the gold scythe, and while I'm in there, I get a cursed mannequin to drop from one of the haunted skulls. I'll have to test that out later. I managed to hit level 10 mining today, so overnight I pick up Prospector to get a little boost to my coal supply. The Joja team works another night shift clearing the boulder at the mountain lake, and I've gotta say, I'm impressed that Morris himself is out there working on this without taking any credit for the work. Maybe Morris was the good guy all along. Fall 6 is a rainy day, which means I'll have to wait for the Joja ceremony. I have just enough cash to get my first deluxe coop upgrade, so I queue that up with Robin and take a trip to the mine to see if I can get the wizard's ectoplasm. Even after hopping around to a bunch of floors, no luck. The 7th is a sunny day, so Joja Corp holds a ceremony in my honor. I turn in the supplies to fix Willie's boat and commission an axe upgrade. I start preparing all the stuff I'm going to need for Ginger Island, including seeds, sprinklers, a pan, and a chest. The fate of my ostriches depend on Ginger Island progress, so I want to get as much done as quickly as possible. The next morning, I try to rush through all of my chores, but tending all the coops really eats up my mornings. I pick up a blackberry basket for Linus and stop by the train station to progress the wizard's missing ink quest. I have the quest to collect bug guts for Willie too, so I may as well head to the sewers and kill some bugs while I get the dark talisman. I finally make it to Willie's boat by mid-afternoon and take my first trip to Ginger Island. I get enough golden walnuts to clear a path to the island farm, and I throw down my 2 iridium sprinklers and assortment of seeds I brought along. I nail the memory game on the first attempt this time after realizing I can just write down the crystal numbers as they happen. It's definitely a better tactic than my normal strategy of using the shambles of my short-term memory. I also get the bridge to the dig site fixed, but I don't have a bomb, so I'll have to wait to free Professor Snail. I have to warp home, but I feel like the progress was decent for not getting to the island very early. Overnight, I take Lumberjack to get some extra hardwood. With all of my farm work, bug quest, and picking up my axe, I don't make it to Ginger Island until afternoon again. I managed to make pretty good progress with golden walnuts, though. I free Professor Snail with a bomb and get walnuts for turning in the snake bones, as well as doing the flower and star survey. I get to floor 5 of the volcano dungeon, trade 10 diamonds for the Diamond Hunter book, and then take the newly purchased escape route. I end up with just enough walnuts to rebuild the farmhouse, so I decide to stay the night on Ginger Island to save the 1,000 gold boat ticket tomorrow. After waking up on Ginger Island, I realize I can't stay too long. I need to queue up another deluxe coop with Robin, and I have to collect eggs and make Mayo to keep the money rolling in. I reach floor 5 of the volcano again without much to show for it other than an island warp totem and a few golden walnuts. After warping home, I start the next coop upgrade, kill some bugs in the sewer for the bug meat quest, and cut down a few more trees in Cindersap to prepare for the next coop upgrade. On Fall 11, I wake up next to a grumpy Shane who doesn't want to leave his bed today. I decide to spend the day around town to catch up on farm stuff. I get my first dinosaur to finally hatch, but even with Coop Master, it will take a long time to fill up a coop with dinosaurs. I think I'm going to take one more shot tomorrow to hit Skull Cavern in hopes of finding another dino egg. I hop around the low levels of the mine to finish Willy's Bug Guts quest and finish out the day with just a little fishing in the river. Before my trip to Skull Cavern today, I go to get yet another coop upgraded to Deluxe. I have some extra cash, so I also get the final backpack upgrade. With the Warp Totem, I'm in Skull Cavern by 10 a.m., and I brought some stairs along too. I managed to get to floor 11 pretty quickly, which is a dinosaur floor. I end up getting a dinosaur egg and a prismatic shard from one of the dinosaurs, and since that's all I was after, I go home early. With the extra time, I decide to warp to Ginger Island and spend the night there. I mainly fish and pan around the dig site before bed, hoping for some bones for the collection, but I come up empty there. In the morning, I head straight to the volcano. I brought some bombs this time, and the extra rocks I clear with them get me some golden walnuts as well as the mummified bat, which means I just need 3 more fossils for the field office. At floor 5, I decide to cough up 10,000 gold to buy the recipe for the island warp totem. Even if it doesn't save me money overall, the time savings of running to the fish shop is probably worth it. I just hope I can find enough dragon teeth to support my Ginger Island habit. After playing it safe with combat, I finally reach the forge of floor 10. I need to get back to my chickens before it gets too late, so I open up the shortcut and save any enchanting attempts for later. On fall 14, I rush through as much egg processing as I can and try to get to Robin's around 9 to build my first and only barn. I want it to be ready as soon as I can start incubating an ostrich egg. Hopefully, building the barn won't jinx me. I warp to Ginger Island, and after replanting some carrots, I make my way back to the volcano. Along the way, I even find my first golden coconut. I managed to find a few more dragon teeth, so I'm set for warp totems for a little while, but I don't get much else in the volcano. I leave after 5 floors to try to fish and pan at the dig site. It takes a few hours, but eventually I find both the fossilized tail and spine and turn them in at the field office. The next morning, I head back to the volcano, but on the way, I cut some weeds in the jungle area and find the mummified frog. I just need the skull from golden coconuts, and since I've found the first one, I will be able to get more by trading 10 regular coconuts at the island trader. I have a bunch of those saved up, so it should be a piece of cake. I get some tough levels in the volcano and nothing of note drops, so I head back home in the afternoon. When I get back, I have a lot of egg collecting and mayo making to do. Fall 16 is the Stardew Valley Fair, so there isn't much time for me to do anything other than farm maintenance and some tree cutting in Cindersap. At the fair, I make sure to rub my Grange display victory in Pierre's face, and then I go undefeated on the spinning wheel game. I clean out the entire vendor booth, which means I get my first star drop, which of course tastes like mayo. I also end up with a prize ticket, a glowstone ring, a rare crow, and some other junk. It's pretty late after the fair, so I fish some trash out of the river on the farm and call it a day. On the 17th, I head to Skull Cavern one last time to see if I can get any more dinosaur eggs. Before warping over, I crack my golden coconut and remember the first one is always a golden walnut, so I didn't really even have a shot at the fossilized skull from that one. I say hi to Shadow Daddy in the sewer and buy a star drop off him for 20,000 gold since my cash flow is doing pretty well now. In Skull Cavern, while I do get a dinosaur floor, I don't get any egg drops. It seems pretty unlikely my dino coop will be full by the 100-day mark, but I guess that's okay. I warp straight from Skull Cavern to Ginger Island, and I unlock the island trader to trade for golden coconuts. I'm going to stay the night on Ginger Island again, and I clear a bunch of trees and fish for a bit before bed. I even get a few more golden walnuts. In the morning, I go to the volcano once again. I should learn the recipe for the ostrich incubator soon, but I'll need an egg, which means I either need to find one in a chest in the volcano, or I need to find the 10th journal scrap. I don't get either during my visit, but I only stay until early afternoon. I get back to town in time to have Robin start on another deluxe coop and have Clint crack some golden coconuts. I end up getting a fossilized skull and a banana sapling, so I don't even bother cracking the rest. I get caught up in mayo making after that and realize at midnight that I missed my chance to turn in my last Slime Slayer quest to Lewis. On the 19th, it's back to Ginger Island once again. First, I drop off a pumpkin to Caroline. After turning in the last fossil, Professor Snail gives me the recipe for the ostrich incubator. If only I had an egg. I bomb my way through the mines in the afternoon, but come up empty again. In the morning, I give the volcano another shot, but once again it's a bust, and I have to go home mostly empty-handed. I do get enough golden walnuts for the warp obelisk, so at least my trip home is fast and free now. As usual, I queue up Robin for another deluxe coupe before her shop closes. Afterwards, I go to the swamp and fish. There are catfish in there today, so I figure I'll just go until I fish up Void Mayo for the quest. I'm not planning to get any new buildings, but unlocking the wizard's summoning book will let me move and paint my buildings while Robin is working. Oh, I also pick up a bow and a bonnet from the hat mouse that match the outfit. I guess I'll save the bonnet for special occasions. On Fall 21, I decide to take a quick trip to the desert to burn the rest of my jade and staircases since it's a Sunday. Not much comes of it though, and I end up warping to Ginger Island by late morning. Once there, I go to the volcano again to try to find a journal scrap, and of course, I don't get it to drop. I'm starting to get worried I'm never going to get my ostriches. The one bright side is I do enough combat to hit level 10. I fish in the cove until late, but fishing leveling is going super slow right now too. I take acrobat at level 10, which is kind of a waste unless I find a club weapon. When I took Scout, I had a long string of good clubs, and since the Galaxy Sword is probably my permanent weapon now, I'll just have to deal with it. At this point, I'm getting desperate, so I started looking up alternate ways of getting journal scraps. I've bombed the heck out of the volcano for days now, and I can't get it to drop. I think the odds just get really low as you get closer to the last scrap, but maybe there are some easier ways. While fishing, journal scraps have a decent chance to replace junk, so that may be the way to go. The Gourmand Frog Cave has an almost 100% chance for fishing up trash, so I spend my morning with the frog. 2 frog hats later, and I finally get scrap number 10. I've heard horror stories of the last scraps taking seasons or years to get, so this is a relief, although I really wish it would have come sooner. After digging up the ostrich egg, I hurry home to get it incubated and start upgrading my last deluxe coop. I fish until evening and make pretty good progress to level 9. I feel like the pressure is off a little bit now, since my first ostrich is on the way. I might still try to get another egg from a random volcano chest later, but I'm going to make mastery and finishing my upgrades the priority. All of the buildings need to be fully upgraded to paint them. And let's face it, that's the most important part of the challenge, right? Emily's Rock Rejuvenation is this week's quest, so that should be super easy. I fish all afternoon and evening and make it a little way into level 9. I think a few more days of heavy fishing should do it. On Fall 24, I start the last required house upgrade. I warp to Ginger Island to pick up a jade and then do some fishing there to try leveling up. I take the boat back to town, drop off the jade to finish Emily's quest, and then start some farm redecorating. I map out new locations for some of the coops that will hopefully look a little bit nicer while spreading out the grass consumption a bit. Access to building movement through the wizard is already paying off. I even plant some trees with fertilizer to try to spruce things up a bit. On the 25th, I finally remember my sweet gemberry that's probably been ripe and sitting in the greenhouse for a week now. I give old Master Cannoli a snack and he rewards me with one as well. Tastes like mayonnaise. I continue to try to organize the farm a bit better with any extra time, but my main priority is still getting to mastery, so I go to the beach and fish until evening. On Fall 26, I make some lionfish bait and warp to Ginger Island. I feel like lionfish are easy enough to get perfect catches, which seems to be the best way to level up fast. I end up hitting level 10 fishing by mid-afternoon. With mastery complete, I only have a couple goals to meet in the last 18 days. I find out one of my goals is already closer to being ready when I see that my first ostrich has hatched. It's the day of the Spirits Eve festival, so I can't go into town today. I think I'll just take care of the farm and start rearranging and decorating. I move the barn to its final location as well as some of the crafting equipment and supply chests. If I had more time and supplies, I'd probably go all out with decoration, but I feel like this looks okay for a 100-day challenge and I'll keep on working on it, especially during the winter when there's even less to do. I make pretty quick work of Spirits Eve, but I do pick up the Rare Crow and Jack-o'-lantern recipe just for fun. It's the last day of fall today. Without any new quests to do, I decide to craft another island warp totem and see if I can get lucky in the volcano and pick up another ostrich egg from a chest. No luck on the ostrich egg, but I do pick up some mermaid boots, which are some of the best boots you can get. When I get home, I tailor them with my crystal boots as the base. I really like the Mayo white footwear for this run, so that's one way to keep your boot upgrades stylish. On Winter 1, my stable is done, and I now have a horse who I will, of course, name Mayo. I'll have to listen closely to see if Mayo neighs. Since Robin is free for a new project, I queue up a barn upgrade. We're almost done with buildings, and once it's finished, I'll be able to paint it. Speaking of painting, while I'm at it, I make the stable match the house's Mayo colors. I don't have anything else pressing other than daily Mayo production, so I take another shot at an ostrich egg in the volcano dungeon, and once again, I come up empty. On Winter 2, I find a shadow guy on the way into town and I track him to a bush. After I threaten the lives of his wife and children, he gives me a magnifying glass so I can start finding secret notes 2 weeks before the end of the run. Woo! I crack a few geodes and I get a few goodies, including a new hat for Mayo, a pearl, and a banana sapling. That wasn't a waste of money at all. I'd warp to Ginger Island again to take another shot at an ostrich egg, but once again, I don't have the luck for it. I'm starting to see a pattern. On the 3rd, my barn upgrade is done. Whatever should I do? I know, another barn upgrade. I have to cut down a few trees to get enough wood first, but there are plenty of those around. Once again, I warp to Ginger Island for another shot at the ostrich egg. I get a rare chest, but it's just another set of mermaid boots, so that's a bummer. Winter 4 is another repeat of farm chores and Ginger Island with a couple exceptions. A couple of my dinosaurs lay eggs, and today is my first day making them into Mayo. I've officially shipped all varieties of Mayo now. No luck again with the ostrich egg in the volcano. The only consolation is a big, worthless carrot harvest. My barn is finally finished upgrading today. As soon as I drop by Robin's to paint it, that means all of my buildings are done for the challenge. My ostrich is fully grown now, and I also get my first ostrich egg. With Coop Master, it should be hatched with plenty of time to spare before day 100, so I'll have 2 ostriches in time to meet the goal. Still, I need to replant Ginger Island anyway, so I head over there and also take another trip into the volcano. No ostrich egg chests, once again, but I do get a notification that I've reached my first mastery level. There's no time to get over there today, but I'll grab a mastery in the morning. On Winter 6, I ride my glorious Mayo steed down to the Mastery Cave and choose my first mastery. I take farming, mainly for the golden animal crackers, but the iridium scythe is a nice bonus too, I guess. I give Emily an amethyst for Clint and trigger 3 cut scenes in a row. Emily works up a sweat dancing for me, and I don't have the heart to tell her it's probably because she's wearing a winter coat indoors. She says she's going to take a shower, but come to think of it, does anyone in town even have a bathroom in their house? It turns out Emily is at 8 hearts. Could I have married Emily all along? We could have gotten sweaty together, and I'm stuck with Stinky Shane? I head to Ginger Island again, but no ostrich egg. There isn't much to do anymore, so it's an early bedtime today. On Winter 7, I crack a bunch of geodes just for fun before heading back to Ginger Island. It's another day of fruitless volcano dungeon crawling. It's a little different story for Winter 8. My second ostrich hatches, so I guess I've officially met the animal goal. It's also the Festival of Ice today, so after I make my daily rounds on the farm, I head over to kick butt in the fishing contest. I make sure to stand next to Willie so his spirits can gradually be crushed as he watches me outfish him. It's the home stretch now, so I'll probably just rush through this last week. I may do whatever quests pop up if I feel like it, but otherwise, it's just tending the animals. I have 2 fishing quests to get done, so I spend the day fishing up perch and a squid. I even get my first golden animal cracker in a chest. I don't have time to get home and give it to one of the animals, so I'll have to wait until the morning. On Winter 10, I wake up to some mischief from my cursed mannequin. It switched clothes with me during the night. Apparently, it doesn't know how important Mayo-themed clothes are to this run. There are no new quests in town, but I do get to witness some clothing therapy at the mayor's house. While I'm there, I manage to save Emily from Clint's advances by asserting my dominance. I get a houseplant from the prize machine, which is going to live at the mayor's house from now on. After that, I call it a day. On winter 11, I decide to fish up glacier fish. With a trap bobber, he's actually not too bad, and I get him in the first try. I also decide to do some house renovations and get the final house upgrade since I have extra cash and nothing to spend it on. Clint wants to inspect some gold ore, so I get that out of the way quick and I hop into bed around 1 p.m. just to move things along. Winter 12 is the first day of the Squid Fest. It's really pointless for this playthrough, but I don't have anything else I care to do other than making and selling Mayo. I decide to burn 50,000 gold on a couple auto grabbers, but I'm not going to use them yet. The experience from collecting eggs and petting chickens may get me a level in mastery, so even though it's not important, it might be cool to get another level before the 100-day mark. At the Squid Fest, it's going pretty slow at first, and Willy is crowding me. Eventually, I get a golden animal cracker in a chest, so I warp home to give it to an animal before they go to sleep. I don't know if the second ostrich will lay by day 100, but I chance it anyway. While I'm home, I make some targeted squid bait and make pretty quick work of the rest of the day at Squid Fest. On winter 13, I accidentally put an egg in an incubator. Well, the run is ruined. I haven't been checking my total earnings, but if I fall short, I'll make sure to blame everything on that one lost Mayo jar. On the second day of Squid Fest, I come in with a stockpile of squid bait, so it's pretty easy to get all of the prizes. They're mostly useless, but at least it gave me something to do in the final days. On winter 14, I deliver a gold bar to Harvey. With a random prize ticket I found stored away in one of my chests, that makes 2, so I head over to the mayor's house to cash them in. I get a foraging skill book and a star drop tea. I suppose I'll give the tea to Shane and maybe boost him up high enough to finally give me a star drop. While I'm at the mayor's, I see that the lost and found is stuffed with fish. Somebody must have smashed my beach chest during the Squid Festival, so I set up a new fish chest in the mayor's house and leave all of them with him. We all know how much Lewis likes fish. I need to pick up some hay from Marnie, and while there, I realize I never got heaters for all of my coops. Sorry, little ladies. Hopefully, it didn't affect my Mayo output too much. At the farm, I start updating some of my flooring with a mix of wood and straw tiles, which makes kind of a checkerboard pattern. I kinda like it, and I'm just bored enough in the last few days to keep working on that. On winter 15, Shane finally loves me enough to give me a star drop. It's not a big deal at this point, but I guess it's just bonus satisfaction for this run's progression. I get a quest to retrieve 1,000 wood for Robin from the special orders board, and with all the trees I have around, that's one of the few quests I can finish by day 100. After clearing some trees, I stop by the night market to watch an off-Broadway production of The Little Mermaid and pick up a free pearl. I burn the rest of my time and energy replacing wood flooring. Just one day to go. It's finally day 100. I have some spare cash and a bunch of geodes, so I decide to head to the blacksmith to see how much of the museum I can finish. After getting a few minerals and artifacts, I drop them off at the museum and come back to see Clint leaving. Clint, it's day 100. Who do you think you are, Marnie? I guess the whole geode thing isn't gonna happen. I stop back home to finish my farm chores and find Shane staring at a lamp blocking my path. Now I know how the NPCs feel when I get in their way. Without much left to do, I head over to the night market and end up going fishing in the submarine to finish out the day. Alright, so after all that, let's see how we did. I managed to earn a total of 971,918 gold just selling Mayo, which is a good look on the collections tab. That's 2,065 of the standard Mayo, 205 duck Mayo, 321 void Mayo, and 8 dinosaur Mayo. My goal of 500,000 gold was pretty arbitrary, but I feel like I smashed that pretty easily. I probably could have gotten a lot more if I were willing to fill up more coops and if Marnie didn't take so many days off. I managed to get 2 of each egg-laying animal, and they all ended up in color-coordinated coops according to their species and Mayo. I got a horse named Mayo and married a chicken lover, so I feel like all the goals were met. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about the naming challenge. If you're curious about whether I named all my animals after herbs and spices, here's the list. I ended up with more than I originally planned, so I ended up adding some condiments to the mix, but I feel like that was mostly a success. So, what are my takeaways from this challenge? I think the hardest part was not being able to eat anything other than Mayo. That means no buffs and a lot of energy management. I've gotta say, dealing with daily coop maintenance and Mayo making was a huge time sink too. This was the most animals I've had to take care of in any of my previous playthroughs, and I got pretty sick of the daily grind of it by the end. I think once I got through Mastery and didn't need the farming experience, it would become a lot more manageable with auto grabbers in every coop. You could probably just check in on one different coop every day and have all your Mayo processing in less than an hour each morning. Unfortunately, the rushed nature of a 100-day challenge is not necessarily the most fun way to play. With that said, I really did enjoy seeing how this challenge unfolded. The RNG of the dinosaur and ostrich eggs added some stress, but overall, I had fun. So, what do you all think? Did it go the way you expected, and would any of you ever try out a Mayo-only run? Are there any rules you think should have been added? Let me know in the comments if you have any other challenge runs you'd like to see. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video or learned anything new, please give it a like and subscribe, or come say hello on Twitch. Until next time, goodbye.